The last thing you want to hear when you need your auto insurance most is a robot with countless irrelevant menu options. Which is why with USAA Auto Insurance, you'll get great service that is easy and reliable, all at the touch of a button. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
This message is brought to you by Abercrombie Kids, where the activewear is made for every summer activity, so your mini-me can bring their personal best. Summer days are always an adventure, from day camp to rec leagues and pool days. Abercrombie Kids has the shorts, tees, and swim to keep them comfy and keep up with them. Get everything for the entire summer at Abercrombie Kids. Shop in-store, online, or in the app.
Vitamin Water was born in New York because New Yorkers wanted more. Like more flavor to go with all the flavor. A refreshing drink after climbing 6 flights of stairs to a walk-up apartment or standing in the subway station in 100-degree heat. Focus when I have an 8-hour shift, and Triple X after I was out all night at a club called Triple X. Drink vitamin water. It's from New York.
Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast. The NBA playoffs are here, and Michelob Ultra is getting you closer to the game than ever with courtside seats and more. Enter now at MichelobUltra.com/courtside. Michelob Ultra Superior Access Courtside 2024 to 2025 sweepstakes. No purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents 21 or older. Ends on July 1st, 2025. Multiple entry periods. Visit MichelobUltra.com/superior access/courtside for free entry deadlines and official rules. Message and data rates may apply. Void where prohibited.
And welcome back to a new episode of the Skating Penguin Network, everyone. I know it's been a little while, but we are back. It is Thursday, May 15th. We are now at the midpoint of May, remarkably, and we are almost at the midpoint of the Stanley Cup Playoffs as well. Second rounds are getting into the latter half of their competition. But before we start talking hockey, I'm going to bring in Snail, as always, here. He's been moving and shaking out in Seattle, getting in a new house, busy with work. So just one episode this week, but we have a lot to talk about. But Snail, how are things out there in Seattle? I know, like you said, it's been busy, but how have things been?
Yeah, man, things have been super busy, but it's like a good kind of busy. It's like getting back into the swing of my routine, what life is going to feel like for, the next like 4 months, 5 months, 120, 130 days probably is when the season starts to chill out. I also had this thing happen to me, Robbie, and I'm bringing it to the podcast, to Roundtable, and hopefully our listeners can chime in and let me know if they've ever experienced anything like this before. But I'm dubbing it a fart attack, not a heart attack, a fart attack. I was having insane chest pains, and I felt it. I was worried. I was having, it just felt like tightness in the chest, in the upper gut area. And it was getting to the point where I was actually kind of concerned. And I was, even asking my mom about our family history of like heart disease and all of that, only for me to drink an ice cold LaCroix, bubbly water. You know what a LaCroix, you guys have LaCroix out there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I drank an ice cold LaCroix, started chugging it, and I unleashed what I can only call a sonic boom from out my rear end. And every symptom I had dissipated with that sonic boom that I released. And it was the most relieving feeling I'd felt in quite a while. I mean, I'm going through a lot of relieving things. I'm making progress on our new house that we're moving into. My income is looking good. I'm not as stressed about money with the influx of work. I felt a relief that I have felt a relief probably only known to people that have shared this exact same feeling with me. The anxiety that comes with the idea of anything to do with the heart and the chest. And it was all relieved with just the simple passing of massive gas in one good blow. So I'm just curious, Robbie, has that ever happened to you before?
I don't know if it ever happened to that level. I mean, I've gone through like some bloating and stuff where
you
kind of got to get it
general
out of there.
Discomfort.
General discomfort, not to the part where I thought I was having a heart attack like you were. So it sounded like you were going through some mighty distress there, and it took a nice bottle or a nice can of LaCroix to kind of clear out the air pocket that you had caught in there.
Yeah, it did. I think that I don't know if that's a remedy that is proven to work. I think like a physician might tell you to take some what do they call it, like Gas X or something like that.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
there's actually, I looked into it. There's actually a number of stretches you can do to
I'm
help
sure.
relieve yourself of any air pockets that are in your digestive tract. But I just if this isn't a plug for LaCroix, I don't know what is. If you're ever feeling like you've got something stuck in you,
Just
cold no,
hammer a LaCroix.
hammer a LaCroix, and it might clear your system out, and you no longer have to worry about something as serious as maybe some sort of coronary cardiac episode. So I just wanted to bring that to the pod. It's good to know that you've never gone through that, because Robbie, I can tell you that it was pretty stressful, that whole thing. But I got to know, like Brian, our followers, our loyal listeners from across the pond out in various places in Europe. Have you guys ever experienced what I went through? Because I would love to roundtable these conversations and hear your experiences as well.
Yeah, let us know, because it certainly sounded like you were in quite a situation that you almost ended up in the hospital because of. I'm sure you're not the only person in the world that's had
A fart
gas
attack?
that bad that you just. But LaCroix, sponsor us.
Yeah, for real. I wouldn't mind that
Yeah.
at all. In fact, I would encourage it. I don't have a can with me right now, but I'm not kidding, Robbie. When we record, I usually have a nice can of LaCroix right here to wet the whistle.
So if anybody's experiencing this, you know that LaCroix is a quick answer. Forget the doctors, forget the stretches. Just get your favorite flavor of LaCroix, hammer it down real quick, and next thing you know, you'll be
You're a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, you'll be right and ready after that can of LaCroix. But no, it's good that Snail is he's doing the move. He's moving houses. He's working. He's painting houses, painting. Whatever
Everything.
he paints.
I'm about to paint a fence, someone's fence.
He put a nail through an electrical wire and almost killed himself last week.
That's right.
If you were around for that episode. But he's here still now. He is gas free and ready to talk
Just
hockey.
ready to rock. What about you, Robbie? We haven't talked in a while. How are things out in Western PA? Anything new in your life?
Nothing new, but the weather's beautiful.
Nice. That always makes life a little better.
It does. We had a couple of days of rain and kind of unfortunate weather, but it is May. I mean, you kind of expect wet weather this time of year, and hopefully bank some of that up from when it gets dry in July and August. But it's been warmer. It's not brutal hot yet. It's just been warmer. It's been that nice 70-degree weather, sunny these last few days, and no, it seems like the warm part of the weather is definitely here to stay. Definitely got that cold pushed out of the system, thankfully. But now it's more or less just hopefully get some dry weather and you can get outside and enjoy it a little more. But other than that, everything around here has been pretty good. It's been pretty good. We're getting, like I said, mid-May. Memorial Day weekend is just about a week away. So that's kind of the official start of summer. And yeah, you know what? Hot dogs and beers and pool parties and barbecue, and yeah, it's about that time.
Honestly, yeah, there's like just a lot of great, the older you get, you kind of enjoy like the more subtle victories in life, like a nice hot dog and a cold beer. It's just a great moment you sit down with. I don't know about you, but mowing your lawn every once in a while, you kind of get out there and mow the lawn, that smell of fresh grass, that's a great feeling. What time of year does that because I know that in out east you guys get like a really uncomfortable heat out there. It's very humid, from what I understand. You guys are kind of in that Appalachia area. My new neighbor that I'm having, his daughter's in school out in Washington, D.C., and he said it was like 85 the other day and muggier than all hell.
Yeah,
so
D.C. has notoriously bad, like almost like walking around a swamp. It's kind of like New Orleans. It's kind of like New Orleans just moved north.
Oh God.
Yeah, it can get 90, 95, 100% humidity. DC in the summer can be absolutely miserable. As much as I love DC, if you're there at the wrong time, it's like walking around a sauna.
Oh Jesus, that sounds awful.
It's no fun. Yeah, it's a good thing they have a bunch of museums and stuff where you can go in and get air conditioned. Because if it's outside, it can be absolutely just. It's not even like a comfortable warm. It is just your body is just soaking wet.
Like you need to hose off probably.
Yeah,
after, like,
you
a
need
walk.
you need to walk around with a towel and just kind of towel off as you
Oh
walk
Lord,
around.
that sounds awful.
Yeah, because
That's
it's all
different than a
concrete too.
Jones. You're from Johnstown, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Johnstown.
Yeah.
You guys don't. It's not that bad where you're at, is it?
We can get the high humidities, but we don't get the abnormally like pushing triple digits type temperatures now.
That's
we're
nice.
more like we have more rural too, so we have more wooded areas that can keep it a little colder too.
Yeah,
it's not,
those
like
wooded
DC
areas keep that temperature down.
Yeah, DC is literally just
concrete.
A city. It is concrete, asphalt, people. It is just hot and miserable. As like you get out here though, Pittsburgh can get really hot though too, like downtown and stuff in the summer. But we do. I mean, it can get miserable around here. Don't worry. We had one day where it was like 70, but like 100% humidity, and I could feel that in the air. Luckily, that pushed out with some rain, but it can get nasty. But right now, it's actually not too bad. It's about 72 today. There were some threats of rain, but nothing too crazy. And then the summer, then it can get humid, and we can have a rain shower, and then it'd be sunny the rest of the day too. That's just kind of how it works out here. So
nice.
No, it's
yeah. It's like just that window's opening just to where it's going to be really pleasant all the time for like a couple of months.
Absolutely.
Well, Robbie, let's talk some playoffs, because these playoffs. Last time we were on here, dude, I think I was saying that this might be some of the best like cinema, like that we'd seen in playoffs, and it's safe to say I think that cinema has cooled off quite a bit.
It depends. Do you like Schadenfreude? Because if you are, then you'll love what the Toronto Maple Leafs are doing right now. So
yeah, let's talk Leafs first.
We're going to talk about this for a while. One, the Penguins should stay as far away from Mitch Marner as possible this offseason.
I agree.
So that will lead into that. So they go up 2-0 in the series at home. They lose 2 games in Florida. Whatever,
they were kind of close games though.
The one was in overtime.
Yeah,
and a game again. They're gonna look back. They were up 2 goals in that game. They should have won that game, but they lose. And of course, of all people to win that game for Florida, it was Brad Marchand.
Dude, nightmare fuel.
Oh yeah, every Toronto fan just absolutely cringed when he scored that game winner in overtime in Game 3. But Game 4, they shut out 2-0, but a relatively close game. But Bobrovsky's going to play that game. We've been waiting for Bobrovsky to make his mark on these playoffs, and he did. Whatever. You're going home. It's a best of 3. 2 of those games are at home. Game 5, everybody's hyped up. Back on home ice. Everybody's roaring. You lose 6-1 and look absolute. I mean, it's not even like you go out there and you lost a hard-fought game. Whatever, that happens.
That was a summer scrimmage.
You got run out of your own. You got bullied in your own building. In one of again, Toronto's had a lot of catastrophic playoff losses since like
some of the worst. Some of the worst
since the lockout. I think this might be the worst.
Dude, Nick Robertson has been scratched the whole series until last night, and he has more goals than Austin Matthews does.
And Mitch Marner.
Mitch Marner hasn't scored. I mean, yeah, he had some good looks in that Ottawa series. That Ottawa series seemed to bring the best out of Marner and these guys. What happened to Willie Nylander too? Like that guy, those first 2 games at home, he was God mode, and now he can't. It's wild to see the collapse. See, Robbie, I can see this going 2 ways right now. And one way I would way rather prefer than the other way. But this team has been together, this Maple Leafs core has been together for 9 years. And, a lot of people, they like to throw in it took Ovi and that core a long time to get it done. But as Penguins fans, we know the noise around that. I mean, sometimes you kind of count the Caps out because you're like, well, Ovi's not going to be able to get it done for that team when it really matters. He's just a regular season kind of elite goal scorer, blah, blah, blah. Boy, has that changed. But man, this core has been together, like I said, 9 years. And you hear every season they learned valuable lessons. They've had to really answer to that insane Toronto media every year about some sort of complete collapse in the playoffs for 9 years now. And a couple of those years you get a little grace, right? I mean, Babcock was there, if you remember.
It happens.
These guys were young. But dude, how many lessons? They're either going to absolutely soil themselves and fold in half yet again, and they're going to lose embarrassingly or in some sort of dramatic fashion to the Florida Panthers and sending them to the Eastern Conference again. Or there is an opportunity for this team to they got sky dumped on yesterday, and this team could learn from their lessons, and they could absolutely put the pin down against the Florida Panthers. Austin Matthew could come out and have 2-2. Willie Nylander, Marner could each have a goal and an assist. It could be just an epic game, and Joseph Wall, I guess, could stand on his head. The more that I'm saying this, the more that this is coming out of my mouth, I just don't see any way. I don't think it's in the DNA of this team for that option.
Nothing that they've done in the past decade has proven that they're a team that can do that. All signs would point to them getting barn raced in Game 6. I'm cheering for them to win Game 6 because them losing Game 7 at home would be maybe enough to carry me through to October.
Cinema.
I mean, I'm not even like a true Leafs hater, but it's not even the Leafs. It's the fans. It's the media. It is we are the Toronto Maple Leafs. You haven't won anything in 60 years.
1967.
You've been a relatively irrelevant franchise for 60 years.
They call themselves the hockey mecca. Can you be the hockey mecca if you've never won since what administration was that in 1967?
67, that would have been like the Nixon administration.
Yeah, Nixon. If you haven't won anything since Nixon was in office, can you really be the hockey mecca? I don't know.
No, I mean, the Islanders have won 4 cups in that span. Edmonton's won 4. The Rangers have freaking won a Stanley Cup in that. The Blackhawks have been a dynasty. The Penguins have won 5. Like,
there's been an expansion team that's won. There's been an expansion team from the 2010s that's won a Stanley Cup since then.
That is true. There's been an expansion team from the 90s that has gone to a Stanley Cup final. Minnesota got and lost a hockey team in that and got one back. A team from Texas won a Stanley Cup. 2 teams from Florida have won Stanley Cups. Like, it's insane.
If someone woke up from a coma from 1967 and they asked how has it been, like they would probably want to re-enter the coma. They'd be like, I don't know, this is not what I was expecting to hear.
If they were a Leafs fan, they'd want to re-enter.
Yeah, if they were a Leafs fan.
If the last thing they remember is winning the cup in 67 and they went to a coma and woke up today, they'd probably be wondering how many more cups they had, and you could tell them they haven't even been back to a cup final.
No, I don't think even that core with like Wendell Clark and Doug Gilmour, they never got to a Stanley Cup final.
No, they have not been to a cup final since 1967.
I don't even think they've been to an Eastern Conference final. I think it's always been the second round.
They went to 93, 94. They went to the Eastern Conference final. They do have a couple conference final appearances. Not in this era, obviously.
Not the early 2000s one though. They never.
I think Sundin went to a conference final.
Yeah,
like
I wouldn't be shocked actually if that was the case.
But
yeah,
again, this gets back to my point. You don't touch Mitch Marner this offseason.
No,
the dude can't. The dude is not built for playoff hockey. It just. And I was watching some reactions today from pro Leafs fans and like neutral fans. He's just, again, a great 82 game player. No doubt about that. He had 100 points this year. He's going to get paid by someone. I don't know whoever does pay him. You're going to have to justify him no-showing each and every year in the playoffs. Like, I don't know how you justify that.
I mean, you don't, like, there is no it is what it is. Like, he's been in the league 9 years, and yeah, he's a player. I've said it forever, Robbie. He's a player that, with the right team around him, he can definitely help get you to the playoffs if you're on the fringe there. I mean, I don't think did he hit 100 points this year?
I
He
think
can
somebody
get
said he hit 100 this year. Yeah.
he can get you between 80 and 100 points every year through the regular season. But if you are someone that needs, he's the worst player for the Leafs because they just need playoff success, and he's basically shown you that he's incapable of that. Someone is going to pay him this summer, and I can tell you who it's not going to be. It's not going to be the Toronto Maple Leafs. If they lose out, it's not going to be the Maple Leafs. I think it's even Brendan Shanahan, as stubborn as he's been with this core, even he's going to say, c'est la vie. And as a Penguins fan, Robbie, yeah, would it be nice for the Penguins to maybe punch above their weight next season a little bit and get to the playoffs? As fans, we would love that. But after 80, maybe an up and down season, the rigors of an 82 season, and we got Sid, it might be Malkin's swan song next year. Do you want $14 million on the books with Mitch Marner for 8 years or 7 years or whatever? I don't think we do.
No, of course not. You can't. Not with what the plan is. The plan isn't going to be like, not this year. If it was next year, maybe it's a different story. But Dubas is going to be very savvy with how he spends his money this year. And one thing that that I was pointed out on one of the podcasts I was listening to today, Marner's kind of fallen into the tier of how people thought about Phil Kessel before he got out of Toronto.
That's a good comparison.
Again, Kessel never had the team that Marner has around him. He never had those guys around him. And like, Kessel came to Pittsburgh, and kind of like the pressure was kind of off in Pittsburgh. Like, he didn't have to be the guy in Pittsburgh, but he always showed up in the playoffs in Pittsburgh. I mean, probably should have won the Conn Smythe in 2016.
He should have.
Had another great playoffs in 2017. He was a catalyst on that HBK line that just ate other teams alive. Marner, like, he made a pass last night that led directly to the Panthers' third goal. He spun around and just whipped it in the middle of the ice, a dangerous pass in the neutral zone, and immediately went back the other way.
Robbie, you know what that play looked like? Do you remember the year they made a documentary about them? Or not a documentary, it was that Leafs HBO or Amazon Prime series. Yeah. Alex Galchenyuk had the same play that cost them. Alex Galchenyuk in that video, in one of the episodes when they lost out, I think it was against the Habs? Alex Galchenyuk's on the opposite corner because he's a lefty, and he does a no-look behind the back pass that gets picked off, and they buried it. It's just the Leafiest thing to happen.
Yeah, and man, you got to show up when it counts. Like, 82 games is great, it's fantastic, but if you don't show up in the playoffs, you can't pay a guy that much money. I'm sorry. Who's going to pay him? It's going to be a team like Utah or Chicago, someone like that. Would not shock me if LA tried to pay him that much money, because they're going to be in the market for something drastic. Will it be a mistake between October and mid-April? Probably not. It'll be fantastic. What happens from mid-April to June? You don't know. Well, you do know, and it's not going to be worth what that, because it's going to be more than Matthews. It's going to be more than McDavid. With the cap going up, that's only natural. But I don't know. They were a team that was supposedly trying to get Mikko Rantanen. Mikko Rantanen has more playoff goals in his last 6 games than Mitch Marner has in his entire 6-year contract.
That's an indicting stat.
I mean, just look at the guys that have shown up. Everybody on Florida shows up every game. If one guy doesn't show up, somebody else shows up. Dallas, Rantanen hasn't been his best the last 2 games. Well, guess what? Mikael Granlund just notched a hat trick against Connor Hellebuck.
Former Penguin, Mikael Granlund.
Well, a lot of Penguins are currently doing a lot of crazy things across the league.
Finnish Penguins, as I might add.
Evander Kane. He was hurt, but he's playing the best hockey. Carolina just by committee will just bury you. Toronto, it just felt like, I mean, it was almost expected. I felt they could win that game, but after about the first 10 minutes, I just felt like, again, that Florida's made for that game, and they delivered in every facet, from goaltending, Bobrovsky good again, and the guys that showed up had to show up, and the ones that, if Barkov has an off night, well, somebody, and Tkachuk will play. Tkachuk will have a big game. If Ekblad, who's had an up and down kind of last 2.5 months, scores a goal early, they're bringing guys that are healthy scratch in their lineup and they're scoring goals. It's a mentality. Again, I think they have the right coach, but if Craig Berube can't mentally get you guys ready, you need to blow it up, because Berube got St. Louis to a cup. He's a great coach, but if he can't get Toronto fixed mentally, you got to start cleaning house then, and not starting with Berube. You got to start with Shanahan. You got to start with some other guys, because it's not working.
I just can't imagine Shanny sticking by Marner at this point with all he's seen. Like I know Marner's a good player in the regular season and he gets you points, and yeah, it's like in the regular season he's a pretty good player, but it's just this team has lacked one thing since forever, and that's playoff success, and he doesn't contribute to the playoff success. You look at guys like, every team seems to have a plethora of guys that can do this. You know who's a good example is Connor Brown, in Edmonton. Yeah. Regular season, he's maybe going to get you 8 goals, 10 goals. In the playoffs, he gets bumped up to a first or a second line. He can score maybe 8 to 10 goals in the postseason that are timely clutch goals. I mean, and he doesn't cost you $14 million. He might cost you $3.5 million for 2 years. It's like there are players like him. Sam Bennett, he's not going to get you 80 to 100 points in a season, but in the playoffs, he'll run someone over, make a play in the corner, pop the puck out, and pass it to someone wide open in the slot and get you a timely goal too. Marner doesn't have that in his DNA. Marner is, and if you're Shanahan, like you said, I love Brendan Shanahan as a player. Like, he's one of my favorite players all time. Like, you can catch me in the summertime around 9:30 p.m. at night in an armchair with like 4 empty beer cans at my feet with Shanahan highlights on. He's one of my favorite, dude. But I love the guy so much, but he needs to separate himself from some of these guys in this core that if he wants to stay in Toronto.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like his kind of charisma and personality on the ice just clearly does not translate over to his team. And yeah, you can't just copy paste something like that. No. But again, this is a guy that's played on teams with exceptional leaders. Lidstrom, Yzerman,
Francis.
He's played on extremely good hockey teams with great leaders, and he just can't make that translate to this group of players. And Chris Tanev, who was by far and away not at all the problem after Game 5, was like, "I'll take responsibility."
Embarrassing. Dude, I mean, Marner should be embarrassed. I mean, he came out and talked to the media right after Tanev too, like at some point after him, and you can just tell he can't. He can't handle the heat. Like every other word was He reminded me of a kid in class that wasn't prepared for his book report and just went up there and tried to wing it anyways, even though he knew he was sinking. That's what it reminded me of. Wasn't able to really answer for his. I mean, there's been a long history of the media and Marner, and he does not really rise to the occasion and take very much accountability when it comes to the postseason, like the lack of success in the postseason. Tanev's a guy that's been there before. Tanev, they're opposites. They're at opposite ends of the spectrum for me as far as hockey players go. But man, if you're the Maple Leafs next year, I mean, are we looking at? Before I get into that, I guess I was going to say, are we maybe looking at a repeat Stanley Cup final of Florida Edmonton?
Well, Edmonton taking care of their part so far. They dispatched the Golden Knights in 5.
Insane.
And they've won 8 of their last 9. They are rolling. The only game they lost was on one of the most freakish plays you'll ever see in hockey.
The Riley Smith goal?
The Riley Smith, Leon Draisaitl goal.
That was insane too, man.
Stuart Skinner has 2 straight shutouts.
He barely played. I mean, he was borderline awful this year.
Yeah, I mean, he was pulled in these playoffs. Like, he was replaced.
He lost his starting position.
He did in the playoffs.
Yeah, in the
to
playoffs.
Calvin Pickard.
Like a week ago.
Yeah. And again, they went down 2-0 to the Kings. Were pretty much on life support, and they roll off 4 in a row. They win the first 2 of the Vegas series, lose that freaky one, bounce back, win game 3 in a chaotic mess of a hockey game with goalies pushing, fighting. Aiden Hill completely lost his mind.
Aiden Hill
more
went
than once.
John Cena.
And then they play to a 0-0 draw through 3 periods in game 5. And then another former Finnish Penguin appears. Kasperi Kapanen caps off that series with an overtime winner, and they take out the Knights in 5. Incredible series for Edmonton, and they're back. I mean, this is a team that I thought was dead after 2 games against the Kings.
Robbie, I had them getting swept by the Kings.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. And now they're back in the Western Conference Finals for the second straight year. Chris Knobloch is, I mean, got to be up there for one of the best head coaches in the NHL right now.
Does he have, as the kids say, does he have ice in his veins?
He must. He got something in his veins because every button, he's like early Mike Sullivan. Every button he pushes just
the right
works.
one. Yeah.
Picard, like moving, pulling Skinner for Picard. Now his hand was forced with Picard going down to an injury.
Right.
But Skinner still, he proves him right in a way. He could have gone to a 3rd-string goalie, but he goes to Skinner again. And then the Kasperi Kapanen move. Kapanen has 2 good games. They didn't panic after that weird loss in game 3. That's the kind of loss where you tie it late. If you lose a game like that in such a weird fashion, you can kind of change an entire series. You kind of saw it in Florida, Toronto. Like they lose that game 3 in overtime, and things change that entire series. Whereas Edmonton, again, they have the resolve. Edmonton just has that resolve right now, and they're back in the conference final, and they're going to be hard. They're going to be tough to beat. They won't be the favorite with whoever they play in the next series, but right now they're playing the best out of, I think, any team that's still left.
Well, you say whoever they play, they won't be the favorite. I mean, are you not ready to pretty much hand this series over to the Dallas Stars with the way that they've played? Hellebuck, dude, we talk about Mitch Marner in the postseason. Yeah, what about Hellebuck? I mean, this guy, those Mikael Granlund goals, I mean, Robbie, there was at least 2 of those goals.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
It was just, I mean, he looked like, I don't know what happened. He was staring. There was only one shooter, and it just went by him. I think he even said in his post game, he was like, yeah, I'll have to check the tape on it, but I think it was a perfectly placed shot or something. I was like, you're Connor Hellebuck. There's not many well-placed shots in your world. Like, I don't know. Weird to me. I thought it's been odd to me with Hellebuck.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
Is anyone out there?
Another salesperson enduring the endless search.
exhausting. If you want to get right to the right conversations, you need LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Whether you're looking for new leads or strengthening existing relationships at your top accounts, get right to the right conversations with LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Try LinkedIn Sales Navigator now with a free 60-day trial at linkedin.com/trial. That's linkedin.com/trial.
Terms and conditions apply!
Are your business expenses playing hide and seek? With Uber for Business, the small spends that slip through the cracks, like rides and meals, go right where you need them. Because it integrates with leading expense platforms, you can say goodbye to surprise costs, missing dollars, or chasing receipts. Everything's track downable. Uber for Business. Make small steps that make a big impact. Learn more at uber.com/small steps.
Out here, there's no one way of doing things. No unwritten rules. And no shortage of adventure. Because out here, the only requirement is having fun. Bank of America invites kids 6 to 18 to golf with us. For a limited time, sign them up for a free 1-year membership, giving them access to discounted tee times at thousands of courses. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/golf with us. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Restrictions apply. See BofA.com/golf with us for complete details. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
Yeah, he's been like that since the beginning of these playoffs, though. Like, he hasn't looked comfortable at all. Right now, I think Jake Ottinger is your US 1 come the Olympics next year. Ottinger has vastly outplayed him through 4 games. And like I said, Rantanen has cooled down a little bit, but Mikael Granlund notching a hat trick. Miro Heiskanen is back in the lineup now. Jason Robertson's back. Matty Duchene is playing great. Wyatt Johnson is playing out of his mind. It's just that team just keeps coming. They just keep coming at you. They're up 3-1. By the time you listen to this, that series may be over. They play Game 5 tonight after we record this. Actually, 2 series might be over. Another series might be over as well. We'll get to that in a second. But Dallas is playing as good as anyone, as good as Edmonton, I would say. And if that's the conference final, that should be prime hockey watching, because the 2 teams are playing better than anyone. Plenty of superstar talent to go around. But Edmonton, just credit for, again, they're like the opposite of the Maple Leafs. The Kings punched them in the mouth. Vegas tried to fight their way back into it, and they didn't blink. They buckled down, and they came through with big victories to get through the conference finals again. So all the credit in the world to Edmonton and what they've done this playoffs.
For sure. And I think I wanted to touch on Kasperi Kapanen. He had a shift that made me hate him. I will never forgive him. He threw 3 thunderous hits in one shift. I hadn't seen him throw 3 hits to that magnitude in, what was it, 3 or 4 years that he was with the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Something like that.
He does that really annoying thing where he flies down the wing and then he pulls up and hits a button hook right back up the wall and usually turns it over. Well, now he's going to the net and scoring game-winning goals in overtime. So thanks, Kasperi, for all your years of service in Pittsburgh. We certainly could have used that, but you're on to greener pastures now, being healthy scratched half the season and then showing up big in the playoffs. Must be nice.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the coaching. I don't know. Maybe it was just
maybe Sully. Something with Sully, right?
Could have been. I mean, we'll find out, I guess.
That's true.
Yeah, shifting over to the Dallas series, Dallas Winnipeg. Dallas is up 3-1. It's just one team being better than the other team. Goaltending aside, Dallas. That Rantanen trade really, I think, at the end, whether or not they even win the cup, may have shifted power in the entire Western Conference for the next 5 years. Might have fundamentally shifted how we look at the Western Conference, because Rantanen has already gone another level. He's only going to keep getting better. They're just going to build around him. They have the goaltender. They have the top defenseman. They have the young scorers. I just fundamentally shifted power. Even if they don't win the cup this year, we're talking the next 5-6 years of Dallas being a cup favorite. Obviously injuries and stuff aside, but he's just fundamentally changed that Dallas team and made them an absolute wrecking ball. That and Colorado, it went 7 games again. Them and Colorado, I could watch them two teams play playoff hockey against each other for the next 5 years. I mean, those are two teams that are right neck and neck. Edmonton, I think, is there as well, just for the simple fact that McDavid and Draisaitl are going to keep that team relevant throughout the season into the playoffs anyway. But Dallas, I just think Dallas is a better team. Goaltending or not aside, even if Hellebuyck was playing good, I still think Dallas is winning this series. There's no shame in that. There's a better hockey team. They made the bold move at the deadline. They gave up a guy that they valued in Logan Stankoven to get Mikko Rantanen, and it has them a win away from the Western Conference Final and potentially a Stanley Cup as well. They're just a better hockey team, top to bottom, than what Winnipeg is.
Do you feel for a team like Winnipeg that has maybe a harder time getting these stud players, and then them being, they're one of those teams that, like Hellebuyck, you almost kind of hope he's what carries you through the playoffs. He is their superstar. And when he can't perform in the playoffs, I don't know, I know Nick Ehlers, Gabe Velarde, those are players that might not be back next year. Then you're left with Scheifele is one of those polarizing players too, where he's a great, great player. He's their number one center, but is he a number one center, on every team in the NHL kind of deal? Is he maybe a glorified number two? Is he even maybe just a scoring winger that's been playing center for a long time in Winnipeg? They had Blake Wheeler there. We know that they had Dubois at times. They just seem to have a hard time. When you really look into their team and what they're made up of, I think Adam Lowry might be one of the best captains in the NHL. But even that aside, Neil Pionk and Josh Morrissey's a certified number one. Neil Pionk's a good secondary guy, but do they have what it takes to kind of bring in those players to make a really complete roster, like a Dallas or at this point, like in Edmonton? I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's a fair question to ask about being able to attract star talent to a place like Winnipeg. I think that you have to go out of your way to make your city intriguing, or at least an option for big time free agents. I think Utah is trying that with Salt Lake City as much as possible. I think that was a problem with Arizona. Again, a lot goes into how the team is run just in general. But look at LA. I mean, everything you have around there. I mean, it's Los Angeles.
Right.
Seattle, I think, should be able to draw a big time free agent. But again, maybe that team doesn't have the best reputation. Vegas, I mean, look at Las Vegas, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
There's a reason New York, Boston, and there's a reason Florida can attract these players. Nashville attracts these players. Dallas attracts these players. Again, a lot goes in. Jim Nill's probably the best general manager in hockey. How the team is run has a lot to do with it. But again, you have the star goaltender. That is your superstar. But you have to be able to score goals. And Kyle Connor is a star player. Mark Scheifele, I don't think is. I think Mark Scheifele would be a great 2-center. But are you able to attract that 1C? I mean, you remember back Brizgalov was supposed to go there back when he was in his prime, and he pretty much said no. There's not enough green space. Basically, I mean, Winnipeg, I'm sure, is a fine city. Winnipeg, I'm sure, is a fine city. I don't hear people talk about Winnipeg being a bucket list they want to visit when they travel.
No.
It's a hard sell to make it attractive for players. It's cold a lot, but Hellebuyck is your superstar. You just have to build the team. Again, it doesn't help when he has fallen apart in the playoffs a little bit, but you need to be able to, I think, get one more piece, a Rantanen type piece, And I think it's just a hard sell in Winnipeg, unfortunately. But as long as Hellebuyck's there, they're going to be a good hockey team. They are run well enough. They're coached well. They're going to be competitive. It's just to get over that hump. I don't know if they have what it takes over a team like if I'm power ranking the West teams right now, Colorado, Dallas, Anaheim, or not Anaheim, Vegas, Edmonton are probably all at least ahead of them in terms of who I would take if I had to pick a champion.
Right.
And maybe LA's in there too. We'll see next year. But maybe LA's in that. So they're maybe the 5th or 6th team. How I'd rank them is I think this team can win a cup out of the West. But Dallas is just a better hockey team. There's nothing really other than that. You can point to Hellebuyck not playing his best, but I think that is just kind of picking something to nitpick. I just think Dallas is a better hockey team.
Well, Dallas is the better team, but like a lot of, I mean, you've got like the Finnish Mafia, as they call them over there. You've got Rope Hintz. You've got Mikael Granlund now. That was a pickup at the trade deadline. You've got Mikko Rantanen. You've got Miro Heiskanen as your number. I mean, he's up there with, there's Quinn Hughes, there's Cale Makar, there's Miro Heiskanen. They've got Ottinger, the goalie. I think he's game one in net Olympics.
Yeah.
Like, he's the U.S. starting goalie. You've got Wyatt Johnson. They got rid of Stankoven, but they've got Thomas Harley, Mason Marchment. And then you've got Jamie Benn still playing at a decent caliber of hockey, as well as Tyler Seguin, who, when he's healthy, can still pot you goals. And Duchesne might be on one of the most team-friendly contracts for what he's putting up points-wise, and he shows up in the playoffs. It's just, you can't compete with a team like that. I mean, you could put Dallas in any division, any opponent. That's just one of the best well-oiled machines in the NHL right now, and Jim Nill has definitely done a hell of a job. I mean, just give him the award already. There doesn't need to really be a GM of the year, whatever. It's just give it to him. But yeah, I don't know. It's like Winnipeg's just outclassed.
Yeah, and speaking of being outclassed by a better team, our final series here, Carolina Hurricanes up 3-1 on the Washington Senators. Again, another series that could be over by the time you listen to this episode on Friday.
You mean the Washington Capitals?
What did I say, the Washington Senators?
Yeah.
Yeah, old baseball team in Washington Capitals.
Showing your age, again, Robbie.
It's kind of this. Yeah, I am. Kind of the same situation as the Dallas-Winnipeg series. I expected it to be Carolina. It has been Carolina. They make it miserable to play against themselves. Washington just does not have the juice. Ovechkin, I think I said this on our last episode, he just looks like the series is too fast for him right now at 38. He did score in game 4, a power play goal. But Carolina, again, said it from the beginning, if they're the better team and they're proving it on the ice, they're just, once they get up, it's just so hard to play against them. And even when Washington battled back in that game 4, Carolina just kept their foot on the gas, kept responding, and kept kind of keeping them at arm's length. Taylor Hall's having a phenomenal playoffs. Just maybe the Rantanen trade was for the best for them, because they just look like a much better team now than before they made that trade, which is crazy considering how Mikko Rantanen's playing in Dallas.
Do you think that this could be the Canes' year to get to the Stanley Cup final with this core?
You're looking at playing either a mentally fragile Tampa or Toronto team in the Stanley or in the Eastern Conference Final, or again, Florida's going to be a hard out regardless of when you play them. But as fatigued of a team as it's going to be left, just because of 3 straight Stanley Cup Finals or 3 straight Eastern Conference Finals, potentially Stanley Cup Finals, I think if it's ever going to happen, I think you got to capitalize this year. I mean, you're playing your best hockey. Your goaltending is healthy. Everything is clicking for you. Brendan Moore is coaching the hell out of that team right now. Taylor Hall looks like prime Taylor Hall again.
Yeah,
It everything is clicking. I think that if you're going to do it, I mean, you're never going to it's never going to line up better for you.
I agree. I think that I thought this was going to be a step back year for them, to be honest, just with, that trade with Rantanen, the departure of Natchez. I think this is their first year without Brett Pesce. I could be wrong if this is the first year without him, but remember, they had the back end loaded. They had like Orlov, they had Pesce, and then they had Slavin, and they have that Chatfield guy who's kind of a beast. And God, there might have been one other guy they had. Oh, they had what is his name? He went to
They had Hamilton for a while.
This was after Hamilton had been dealt. They had Brady. Is Brady Shea still there?
Who?
Brady Shea.
No, Shea's gone.
Dude, they had a hell of a back end for a while there, and then I thought it was a step back year, but look at them. I think they look almost better than ever. That Stankoven is such a good fit. Taylor Hall, I mean, they don't really have a breakout superstar on their team, but when you've got Taylor Hall playing like this, and then you've got the punch of Aho, Svechnikov, Jarvis, they can get it done.
Jarvis is really, people are really starting to learn about Seth Jarvis.
Yeah.
He kind of flies under the radar because of Carolina, but the dude is just a beast of a player, unbelievable player. And this is a team that has willingly traded away Noah Hannafin. They willingly, they didn't willingly, but they lost Dougie Hamilton to free agency. Jake Ensel, they tried to sign, but he went to Tampa Bay. He went to even a conference rival. But at the end of the day, they just retool, reload. Their general manager stepped away last year. I mean, they've just retool, reload, and get right back at it. Freddie Anderson has been kind of under the radar goalie-wise, playing great this year. And I don't even think Washington's playing a bad series. I just think they're getting beat by a better team. And that's the nature of the beast in the playoffs sometimes. But I mean, Carolina, if they play Florida like we think they will, they'll have home ice in that series. If Toronto does come back, it will be starting in Toronto. But Carolina is as ready as ever to get over that hump and get to a Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, I agree, man. They're looking lethal. So, kind of my least favorite series to watch right now. I'm not gonna lie, not the most sexy sort of matchup at the moment. But what do you think tonight? You think Carolina steps on Washington's throat tonight and gets it done, or does Washington push for another game?
I'm gonna say Carolina ends it tonight.
I think I'm on board with that as well.
Yep. All right, so that does it pretty much for the playoff talk. As for the Penguins, not much going on in Penguins world. Obviously, that kind of time of year. Sidney Crosby is over in Sweden in the World Championships, playing there with friend Marc-Andre Fleury. Crosby scored his first goal of the tournament earlier this week against France. Nice little in tight, roofed it over the goaltender. I had to look up the goaltender. He plays in the Slovakian Czech or professional league. A guy that he will kind of bouncing all over the place here, but
he's over there.
Head coaching.
I was just going to say, Sid's over there like bullying like European players. It's been kind of funny to see.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of they don't really I looked at their schedule. They don't really play. Yeah, Canada doesn't really play anybody until early next week with Finland and Sweden. So they're kind of just out there vibing. He gets to have fun with McKinnon and Fleury, which is really fun to see. I think Crosby likes this. I really think that he just deeply enjoys the game of hockey, that he's going to go out there and just have a good time and enjoy life and win. More importantly, he gets to actually play on a team that's trying to win right now, which I'm sure he's.
Yeah, this is like fall ball for him or something. You know what I mean? It's like this is like the game taking him to enjoy parts of the world. Like it's not a farewell tour for him yet, but yeah, Sid's just playing hockey, enjoying himself. I think he's playing wing. He's probably like, I'm not going into the dirty areas in this tournament. I'll just play the wing and get my cookies. He looks like he's having a ball over there. And so is Fleury, man. It looks like that team, those guys are probably having a great kick off to their summer, enjoying themselves.
Oh, I'm sure that they're absolutely having a blast. Hauling McKinnon around is like a third wheel between Crosby and Fleury. It's pretty funny, but no, I mean that tournament goes through next week, so we'll pay attention to that because we want to see Crosby get hopefully another trophy to add to the mantle, as if he doesn't have enough yet. But
Jesus, for real.
As for the Penguins head coaching search, they are one of the few that still do not have a coach. Philadelphia hired Rick Tocchet. So that takes Tocchett's name off the Penguins board if it was ever on there to begin with. I'm not really surprised by that hire.
No.
All in all, it just kind of makes sense altogether. But rumors have it was reported by Dave Pagnotta. The Penguins have spoken with DJ Smith and Mitch Love.
DJ Smith? Come on.
They said they've talked to him, but it doesn't sound like anything is going to be decided until after the World Championships, until Kyle Dubas can meet with some of these candidates in person. He did also speak to Mitch Love, who is currently behind the bench in Washington. He is an assistant coach there, a very successful coach and someone that it seems like Dubas would target more than a DJ Smith type. But DJ Smith's name was mentioned from the beginning, but I would like to see someone in the mold of like a Mitch Love. Let's not run something back. Let's get a new face in there, and let's start working toward a future.
Well, Mitch Love, I watched him. He was the coach of the Everett Silvertips. I've seen Mitch Love in action up here just north of Seattle here. Watched him play. There's a couple of decent players on that Silvertips.
Did he play for the Silvertips?
Or sorry, he didn't. I don't know if he played for them or not. He coached them. That's all I know.
He coached. I know he coached them. I know if he played for them as well, or not. But yeah, it'll be interesting to watch how this all plays out in these coming weeks here, because once we kind of hit June, like we'll be at the conference finals will start no later than I'd say like Wednesday next week, depending on how the series play out, and then by Memorial Day, Memorial Day is a little earlier this year, but by beginning of June, we're getting ready for Stanley Cup final hockey, which I know that both you and I are going to be psyched for. And then it's kind of right into off season.
I know. I'm kind of almost a little bit more I love the Stanley Cup final, and it's fun I want a good Stanley Cup final this year too. Like it needs to go 7. It needs to have a good storyline for me to really enjoy it. But Robbie, just like a lot of Penguins fans, once that Stanley Cup final is over, it's like, let's get cooking on the off-season stuff. Let's get a coach. Let's start talking trades. Like that's what I'm really excited for this summer.
Yeah, absolutely. But well, no mailbag this week. We'll get back into mailbag next week once things kind of settle down with you moving and work and stuff like that. But do you have anything to wrap us up here before we put a bow on this, Sam?
Still think they should look into Matt Cook as the head coach for just a year and get the team playing like him, ending people's careers. No, I'm just kidding. I still think that they should take a look at someone who used to play for the Penguins. I'm thinking Trevor Daley, Matt Cook, get Tyler Kennedy in the mix. Tyler Kennedy, he's coaching kids out in Pittsburgh. He's coaching hockey.
He is.
He loves the Penguins. He's on the broadcast every once in a while. Like, get someone who's won in Pittsburgh behind the bench. Just if you're gonna burn here and go for Gavin McKenna, why not?
Crosby player coach. Make Evgeny Malkin the coach.
Oh God, dude, he might just start hitting people over the head with his stick if you do something stupid.
Yeah, but no, yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch how the coaching search plays out. Dubas, Dubas kind of hired Sheldon Keefe out of nowhere.
True.
So we'll see what exactly he plans to do here. But Snell, if that's all you got, that's all I really got for this one. All right, he's saying thumbs up. So we'll wrap this up. Playoff hockey going to be continuing through the weekend. We'll be back next week. Mailbags, news. Hopefully we hear some more about the Penguins. World Championships, checking in on Crosby. But for Snail, I'm Robbie. We'll talk to you guys next week.